Got bright rosy cheeks and a fluffy white beard with marshmallow walls and a big red chair. Santa's coming.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa's coming to town.
Welcome back to Santa as a Podcast. You know, each week I get to talk to you about all kinds of things I'm doing. And, you know, I've been traveling around the world for hundreds of years, visiting all the different countries, visiting millions and millions of children and families all over the world. And today, I would like to take you on maybe a little bit of a magical trip, a magical travel to a global tour of Christmas customs and things in other countries. Would you like that? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to visit every corner of the earth. Okay. Now, before we jump into that, though, remember we've got the riddle from last week, and I've got to get your answers. Did you figure out what the answer was on that riddle? Okay. Before we jump into it, here we go. I'm going to read it to you. You tell me if you know the answer. Here we go. I ring, but I'm not a phone, okay? I'm heard in songs with a festive tone. I'm shiny, I'm round, and I bring good cheer. What am I? Do you know? That's right, it's a bell, a jingle bell, like the ones that are on the harness of the reindeers. Makes a beautiful, glorious sound. It's a sound you really do want to hear, especially when I'm delivering presents. Yes, on Christmas Eve. Anyway, a jingle bell. So anyway, today we're going to talk about going around the world. So I wanted to talk to you about different things. Did you know that there are cities around the country, around the world, that have Christmas names to them? You know, you can go to North Pole, but you can go to North Pole, New York, and North Pole, Alaska, and North Pole in Greenland. Different places have areas they call North Pole. Have you ever heard of Santa Claus? Yes, Santa Claus, Indiana. It's a great little place. And Santa Claus, Indiana is a town that collects and receives over 20,000 letters a year for Santa Claus. That's right. Some of the children write their letters to me, and instead of putting North Pole, they send it to Santa Claus, Indiana. And the postmaster there and a lot of volunteers help me and help the elves make sure that all of your letters that are sent there are answered and taken care of. Volunteers answer every single letter. We make sure every child, and even I come by once in a while. I get to read some of the letters. Some of the elves get some of the letters. And some of the best letters we keep. We put them on file at the North Pole because we want to make sure that these letters are remembered forever and ever. But letters to Santa are very important. And so you can always send a letter to me, North Pole, Alaska. You can ask your parents to mail the letter for me. Sometimes you can drop the letter off when you see me and when I'm out in the public or something like that. But again, letters to the North Pole are very, very important because that tells me whether or not you've been good, because you're telling me whether or not you've been good. And sometimes you can even put in that letter something very important. Do you know what that very important thing is? That's right. What do you want for Christmas? I love hearing what you want for Christmas. So you can put that in your letter too, okay? Those are some unique facts. I love talking about North Pole, Alaska, North Pole, New York, and of course, Santa Claus, Indiana. The main thing is I love receiving all of your letters and knowing what's going on. It's always the same thing, though, bringing joy. Yeah. And speaking of joy, we need to find out what's going on at the real North Pole. So let's get out to Candy Cane Square and our correspondent, our special reporter, Chatter Snowglitz. Chatter, what's going on?
Thanks, Santa. Well, it's snowflakes and sleigh bells over here. I'm Chatter Snowglitz reporting live from Candy Cane Square, where all the sleigh bells ring and the stories sparkle like the summer sun. Let's see what's happening around town today. First, the town of Santa Claus in Indiana is already knee-deep in letters, and they are all meant for the North Pole. The elves there are sorting like snowflakes in a blizzard to make sure every wish, doodle, and candy cane sticker gets to you, Santa. It's always teamwork around here. The small scout elves have officially started deploying to the Philippines, sneaking onto shelves and windowsills to keep an eye out, and of course, to sprinkle a little extra Christmas cheer. And back here at the North Pole, the gingerbread ovens are working overtime. One elf even had to use oven mitts on their feet after cookie dough spilled on the floor and turned into a sticky, toasty mess. Well, that's it for now. Reporting live with snow in my boots and holiday headlines from around the globe. It's Chatter Snowglitz jingling out. Back to you, Santa.
Thank you, Chatter. That was really great having that report and everything that's going on. Now it's time to dive into today's jolly topic. Let's get into holiday highlights from all around the globe. Like I said, hundreds of years I've been traveling all over the world, going to different countries and seeing different things, and it's nice to know about that. Now, the Philippines is known to have the longest Christmas season. I know that some people are always saying that, the stores start putting out Christmas decorations early and the season gets longer and longer. But the Philippines is probably the longest. Do you know what month they start in? That's right, it's September. They start promoting Christmas in September. So they have September and October and November and finally December. 4 whole months of Christmas promotion. And it's really basically all the months that end in Burr. B-E-R. Anyway, the homes and streets are filled with lights, and there's all kinds of paroles or lanterns around the city. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People now, a lot of people know in Philippines the cab drivers will decorate their cabs with a lot of decorations. Well, at Christmas they go way overboard with extra decorations, and nowadays they even have extra lights on their cabs and everything. It's just fantastic. And then actually on Christmas or midnight mass, which they call Simbang Gabi, that is their midnight mass, and they have a very, very special celebration, and they enjoy treats and cakes and things like that. Makes it very special. But the Philippines have their own way of celebrating, and what's unique is that each country has their own way of celebrating, their own way of doing special things. One of the things that Santa enjoys about each of the different countries is that I get different food. Now, here in the United States, they might tell me that I need to have cookies and milk. But if I go to Paris, I might have a little tart and a glass of sherry or a glass of wine. In London, it's a little cookie or cake and maybe some sherry. In Mexico, sometimes they have tamales for me. It's different foods in different countries. So I get to have all kinds of fun things, and it's all their way. That's how they celebrate their Christmas traditions, and it's different all over the world. So as you get older, maybe you get to travel, maybe you'll get to experience some of the things that Santa has been able to experience as he travels around the world. Yeah. By the way, in Japan, this is funny. In Japan, back in, what year? It's been 50 years ago, 1974, they had a promotion where one of the food companies, Kentucky Fried Chicken, told everybody, maybe you should have chicken for Christmas dinner. And guess what? All the people in Japan thought that was a great idea. So now it's a tradition in Japan to have a chicken dinner. Yes, fried chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken for dinner. That's a very fancy custom there in Japan. And families pre-order all their chicken in advance so they make sure that they have it on hand when Christmas Day arrives. In Australia, of course, Christmas is actually during the summer. Yes, it's in the South Hemisphere. So again, when I get down there to deliver, I'm wearing a casual shirt, I'm wearing shorts. I don't always wear sandals, but, I do try to dress cool and comfortable. And I trade in my boots. Sometimes I'll have flip-flops and things. And, of course, there are surfboards, but the elves have told me I'm not supposed to go surfing because my job is to deliver toys. So I try to do that. But, boy, I'll tell you, it gets tempting. You see that warm weather and you see that surfboard and you want to go out and play in the water. But anyway, my job is delivering the toys, so I try to do that. And they have barbecues down there. So sometimes what they leave for Santa on Christmas Eve is barbecued dinner or barbecued snacks. It's always delicious. I think it's great. And down in Australia, it's common on Christmas Day to have a pool party or to go to the beach and go swimming. Isn't that amazing? Some people in some countries, they're going out and playing in the snow and building snowmen and having snowball fights. In Australia, they're out in the water, they're throwing water balloons, and they're playing in the ocean. So it's a really crazy, crazy kind of thing. In Germany, of course, they have shopping. Mrs. Claus loves Germany because in Germany they have so many special marketplaces where she can go Christmas shopping, and she loves all the things they have there. She buys a lot of Christmas decorations for the North Pole. She buys decorations for the trees and decorations. By the way, you know how many Christmas trees Santa and Mrs. Claus have in her house? We have 8 Christmas trees. Yes, we have a Christmas tree in each bedroom. We have one in my office. We have one in the kitchen. We have one in the den. We have one in the living room. We have one in the guest room. I mean, just so many Christmas trees. And each one is decorated differently just for that particular office or location. The Christmas tree in the kitchen is covered with gingerbread men and gingerbread cutters and rolling pins and cooking aids and all kinds of things. It's so much fun to do those things. And she finds a lot of these at the markets in Germany. So it makes it great. Well, that's my little bit of magic from all over the world and from everywhere. Now it's time to get into a little giggle and a little laugh. And I hope you want to have a little giggle and a little laugh. And we got to call on Rudolph. Rudolph, are you out there? Rudolph, I need to hear, what kind of joke do you have for us today?
Okay, Santa, I'm ready.
What does Mrs. Claus say to you when there are clouds in the sky? It looks like reindeer.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the Christmas party? He had no body to go with.
Rudolph, you're amazing. Those are funny jokes. I love them. I love them. Okay, it's now time for Santa to peek into his mailbag and see what kind of mail we have. Mailbox Magic. Remember, you can send me your notes. You can send them to us here at Santa Has a Podcast. Your notes, your questions, comments about what I've been saying. Maybe you got a joke for Rudolph, or you've got a riddle for me, or maybe you know something special about the history in the country. I love hearing about just about anything that you want to tell me about. And you can go to Santa Has a Podcast and send me your notes, okay? And let's see. And don't worry. The elves have told me that we're not going to get bogged down on our website anymore. We got a new server, a little bigger server anyway, and we won't have any problem. We'll take all your messages, and maybe we'll use if you send a question or a riddle, maybe we'll use it on our next podcast. Would you like that? Maybe hear your name mentioned too. Okay. Well, Mailbox Magic. We got a couple letters, and let's go ahead and cover those letters and your comments. Okay, here we go. My first one is a letter, and this one here is from Mason. Mason is 8 years old, okay? And Mason asks Santa, he says, "Dear Santa, I'm keeping the spirit meter by singing carols in the car, even when it's not December, okay? Mom loves thee, and I see my elf on the shelf. Can you tell him to stop tattling on me?" The elf has been tattling on you? Have you been into trouble? Did you do something wrong? Because your elf always reports back to me all the things that you do. Also the good things you do, like singing Christmas carols in the car. I know you sing Christmas carols around the house a little bit too, okay? So again, it's nice that you do that. So again, the elf's going to keep telling me what's going on. You can't stop that. So that means you need to be good so that when they're telling me stuff, you're not worried about what they tell me. Okay? Is that a deal? Okay, good. Let's go on to our next question. This is from Liam. Liam is 6 years old, and Liam's question is, "Dear Santa, I've been good for almost the whole day today, except that 1 minute when the grape juice accident." Uh-oh, you spilled some grape juice? Well, accidents do happen, Liam, and so remember, you can clean it up. The main thing is to say, "I'm sorry," to apologize, and remember, always have more good days than bad days. So even though today was a bad day, okay, that's down here. But you're going to have a good day tomorrow and another good day and another good day. You'll always have more good days than bad days, and that'll keep you on Santa's nice list, okay? And remember, you got to be good every day. That's the important thing. Okay. Well, again, we have some audio recordings, I think, from some of the kids. So let's hear our first audio recording.
Santa, what's your favorite toy?
What is Santa's favorite toy? Well, I love all kinds of toys. Toys that are creative. I love where I can play things. Like I have some really old toys that a lot of times you don't see them anymore. I have Lincoln Logs and erector sets, but I like toys where I can put things together. Nowadays, you probably have the same type of thing. It's like Legos. You put things together and make different things. I like that type of stuff. But my most favorite, number one toy is the first toy I made. It was a yo-yo, and I still have it. It's a wonderful toy, and it still works. It's a lot of fun. Do we have another one? We have another recording? Okay.
Hey, Santa, can I FaceTime with the elves?
Can you FaceTime the elves? Well, unfortunately, none of the elves have cell phones. So it's impossible to do that. We don't have the telephone system that you have down where you are. Okay, so it's very hard for them to do FaceTime and things like that. They did create things called Elfies where they can do like selfies with their phone, or not phones, but with their cameras and stuff like that. But they don't have regular phones, and they're not hooked into the regular phone service. Gosh, those were great letters. I want you to keep sending them in to me. Remember, all you have to do is go right here to Santa Has a Podcast. Send me your letter or your note or your question. Okay? Thank you. Now, it's time for us to quiet down a bit. After we have all the laughs and the jokes and stuff, we got to quiet down because we want to check the spirit meter, okay? So let's get quiet. Now, a little quieter, please, okay? Real quiet. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, wow. The spirit meter sounds so loud. It's great. That's stronger than last week. You remember last week we had your jolly good deed we wanted you to do, to take a treat to a neighbor or a friend? So many of you did that. So many of you were kind to somebody else and took them a treat, and that's what is a good deed. That's what's special. And doing good deeds are a wonderful way of spreading Christmas cheer. And we want you to spread cheer wherever you go. So again, do those good deeds whenever you can. You don't have to just do it because I asked you to do it last week. You could do it tomorrow. You could do it next week. You can do it all the time. Good deeds are a wonderful way of always having yourself up on that big list of good days and good things that you do. Okay? So let's look at doing another deed this week. Here's another suggestion, another idea of a good deed that you can do that will help improve the ratings and get our spirit meter to go higher and higher and higher. It's going to go so high I won't be able to reach the top of it anymore if you keep going, okay? Now, the idea is learn how another country celebrates Christmas or a different holiday. Maybe you want to find out how somebody celebrates their country's birthday, or how they celebrate Easter in their country, or how maybe they have Halloween, or maybe they don't. Find out what things they like. Maybe you have a neighbor who is from Mexico, for example. You could ask them, how do they celebrate Cinco de Mayo? You can do different things. But the idea is to find out about how a country celebrates Christmas or another holiday and share that fact with someone else in your family. So what you learned, share it with somebody else. Okay? To some of you I know are good at reading and you're studying things. You could even ask your teacher for some help if you want. Ask your teacher if they can give you some handy hints on where to find out how people in other countries celebrate Christmas or other special holidays. Okay? Because knowledge is a wonderful piece of magic, and it's going to help you for the rest of your life. You're always going to be learning, and the more knowledge you have, the smarter you are, the more successful, the more happy you're going to be. Okay? And so now we got our spirit meter, and it keeps climbing. It's doing so well with everything you're doing. It's almost time that we're done for the day. Yeah, I have to get going. I do these podcasts each week, but I do have to get back out to the workshop and check on the elves and what's going on out there. And then I also have to check on the reindeer. I have my daily work to do, plus do this little podcast for you this week. So a lot of things going on. And, I forgot. I have to give you another riddle. I always have to give you a riddle before I finish the podcast. Are you ready for the riddle for this week? Okay, let me go over here and I'm going to check on my computer. Here we go. I am not a gift, but I'm best when I'm shared. I can be a smile, a hug, or a care. I make the world feel warm and bright. What am I? This is a different one. This is a little bit of fun here. Now, here, listen again. I'm not a gift, but I'm best when I'm shared. I can be a smile, or a hug, or a care. I make the world feel warm and bright. What am I? Okay, you think about that, and next week when we check with you on the podcast, we'll give you the answer. But hopefully, between now and then, you'll figure out the riddle and know what the answer is. Can you do that? Okay, wish you luck on this. It's a little bit harder than the other riddles, but I think you'll like it very much. Well, everybody, it's time for Santa to go. I've got to get back to all my work, but I want you to keep spreading joy and kindness wherever you go and whatever you do. And I'll talk to you next time on Santa Has a Podcast.
Santa's coming, Santa's coming.